Good morning, everyone. My name is Kathleen Rose Arnodalo, and I am the reporter for today's discussion. So our topic for today is all about the indicators for globality. So the indicators for globality. So what are the multiple attributes of the global city? The foremost characteristic is economic power. Sasson remains correct in saying that economic power largely determines which cities are global. New York may have the largest stock market in the world, but Tokyo houses the most number of corporate headquarters. 613 company headquarters as against 217 in New York, its closest competitor. Shanghai may have a smaller stock market compared to New York and Tokyo, but plays a critical role in the global economic supply chain ever since China has become the manufacturing center of the world. Shanghai has the world's busiest container port, moving over 33 million container units in 2013. So the global city has 7 parts. So first one is service a major media hub. Number 2, home to a large international airport. Number 3, home to a world-renowned cultural institutions. Number 4, having a prominent skyline. Number 5, large mass transit networks. Number 6, home to major stock exchanges and indexes. Number 7, influential and international political affairs. So, do you have wondered why a global city is a global city? So let's tackle about this. So a global city is a city of demographic and economic change. It contains international countries as well as stock exchanges that influence the world's economy. So let's discuss the first parts of the global city. So the first part is service a major media hub, which is home to major stock exchanges and indexes. Stock exchanges allow companies to raise capital and investors to make informed decisions using real-time price information. Exchanges can be physical location or an electronic trading platform. Stock market indexes around the world are powerful indicators for global and country-specific economies. New York, Tokyo, and Shanghai. So, mo ni siya example sa globality nga mga lugar. So, let's continue. So, the number 2 is a home to a large international airport. So, it is the international airports provide services to airlines and passengers from around the world. So, when we say international airport, kaya mo ni siya panangitan. Philippines to Korea, Philippines to kanang Los Angeles, kaya mo na siya. So, the next meaning of this is that it serves as a gateway into a different cultural experience. So, pananglitan if kanang makatravel na, so like sa kanang Bangkok, Thailand. So, ang mga tao sa Pilipinas kay mo travel sa Bangkok, Thailand. So, naay kanang nag-iban nga posibilidad nga kanang makuan gani sila sa kanang mga cultural nga kanang gigamit ngadto sa Thailand. Economic opportunities in a global city make it attractive to talents from across the world. Since the 1970s, many of the top programmers and engineers from Asia have moved to the San Francisco Bay Area to become some of the key figures in Silicon Valley's technology boom. London remains a preferred destination for many Filipinos with nursing degrees. To measure the economic competitiveness of a city, the Economist Intelligence Unit has added other criteria like market size, purchasing power of citizens, size of the middle class, and potential for growth. Based on this criteria, tiny, Singapore is considered Asia's most competitive city because of its strong market, efficient and incorruptible government, and legality. It also houses the regional offices of many major global corporations. So number 3 is home to world-renowned cultural institutions. So it is a cultural institutions or institutions with an acknowledged mission to engage in the conservation, interpretation, and dissemination of cultural, scientific, and environmental knowledge, and promote activities meant to inform and educate citizens on associated aspects of culture, history, science, and the environment. So, for example, sa ani kay kanang mga museums, libraries. So one of the examples day ani kay kanang nasa sitiyo nga libraries or and the community cultural centers. Global cities are also centers of authority. Washington, D.C. may not be as wealthy as New York, but it is the seat of American state power. People around the world know its major landmarks: the White House, the Capitol Building, the Supreme Court, and the Washington Monument. Similarly, compared with Sydney and Melbourne, Canberra is a sleepy town and thus is not as attractive to tourists. But as Australia, political capital, it is a home to the country's top politicians, bureaucrats, and policy advisors. So, one of the indicators of global city is having a prominent skyline. So, ang known gud nga kanang sa skyline kay, for example ana kay sa Tokyo, mo gud na siya ang well-known nga skyline. A skyline is the outlined or shape viewed near the horizon. It can be created by a city's overall structure. The skyline indicates the size and economic importance of a city. The skyline has historically been a symbol for power, wealth, and prosperity. The cities that house major international organizations may also be considered centers of political influence. The headquarters of the United Nations is in New York, and that of the European Union is in Brussels. An influential political city near the Philippines is Jakarta, which is not just the capital of Indonesia, but also the location of the main headquarters of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN. Powerful political hubs exert influence on their own countries as well as international affairs. The European Central Bank, which oversees the euro, the European Union's currency, is based in Frankfurt. A decision made in the city that therefore affect the political economy of an entire continent and beyond. So the number 5 is the large mass transit networks, a system of large-scale public transportation in a given metropolitan area, typically comprising buses, subways, and elevated trains. So, mga nili siyang mga transportations, mga for example, sa ani kay, na nili mabilong ang kanang motorcycle, mga bus, yes. So let's continue. The movement of people within urban area using group travel technologies such as bus and trains. So, the transit networks are spatial representation of bus, rail, and other types of transit routes available in the region. In a transit network, each transit route is coded with a length representing in the path it follows a nose representing the stops along the path. Finally, global cities are centers of higher learning and culture. A city's intellectual influence is seen through the influence of its publishing industry. Many of the books that people read are published in places like New York, London, or Paris. The New York Times carries the name of New York City, but is far from being local newspaper. People read it not just across America but also all over the world. One of the reasons for the many tourists visiting Boston is because they want to see Harvard University. The word "stop university." Many Asian teenagers are moving to cities in Australia because of the leading English language university there. Education is currently Australia's third largest export, just behind coal and iron ore, and significantly ahead of tourism. In 2015, the Australia government reported that it made as much as 19.2 billion Australian dollars, roughly 14 billion US dollars from education alone. So, number 6. It is the home to major stock exchanges and indexes. So when we say this, it is the stock exchanges allow companies to raise capital and investors to make informed decisions using real-time price information. Exchanges can be a physical location or an electronic trading platform. And another meaning of this is stock market indexes around the world are powerful indicators for global and country-specific economies.
We have already explained why Los Angeles, the center of the American film industry, may be considered a global city. A less obvious example, however, is Copenhagen, the capital of Denmark. It is so small that one can tour the entire city by bicycle in 30 minutes. It is not the home of a major stock market, and its population is rather homogeneous.
Last part of the global city, the number 7, is the influential and international political affairs. So when we say influential and international political affairs, it is the influential place for international political affairs. A lot of international foreign embassies are stationed there. So a lot of international foreign embassies are stationed there. So cities that house major international organizations may also be considered centers of political influence. So, palangitan ani kay sa headquarters of United Nations, so nadiri sa kanang lakuan sa United Nations kay ang New York. So, kanang headquarters for the European kay ang lakuan ani niya kay Brazils. So, ang lakuan sa headquarters of the ASEAN is the Jakarta. So, European Central Bank is the Frankfurt. So, the European Central Bank kay mo ni siya ang Frankfurt. So, the number 5, large mass transit networks.
Copenhagen is now considered one of the culinary capitals of the world, with its top restaurants commensurate with its size. As the birthplace of new Nordic cuisine, Copenhagen has set into motion various culinary trends like foraging the Paris for local ingredients. Similarly, Manchester, England, in the 1980s was a dreary industrial city, but many prominent post-punk and new wave bands Joy Division, The Smiths, The Happy Mondays hailed from this city, making it a global household name. In Southeast Asia, Singapore again is slowly becoming a cultural hub for the region. It now houses some of the region's top television stations and news organizations. Its various art galleries and cinemas also show paintings from artists and filmmakers respectively. From the Philippines and Thailand, it is, in fact, sometimes easier to watch the movie of the Filipino and the filmmaker in Singapore than it is in Manila. It is the cultural power of global cities that ties them to the imagination. Think about how many songs have been written about New York.
So today, global cities become culturally diverse because of their large Turkish populations. For example, Berlin and Tokyo offer some of the best Turkish food one can find outside of Turkey. Manila is not very global because of the dearth of foreign residents. Despite the massive domestic migration, so ang Manila di ay kay dili gid nato matawag kaayo og global because kay kanang damo kay mamalihin ngadto sa lahi nga kanang lugar international, like for example mamalihin sa Canada, so mo-migrate sila kay mas madako man gud ngadtong sweldosan. But Singapore is ang Singapore kay matawag na gid nato sila nga global because it has a parent population of 38%.
So that's all, and I hope you learned something. Thank you.